My name's Helen, I'm the Diddy Stitcher, my pronouns are she, her. It is Friday the 12th of January today. It's my sibling's birthday! Happy birthday, Liz! They don't watch. I don't think. Do you watch? It's my first Flosstube of 2024, Flosstube 59. Can't believe I've been doing this 3 years now. Yeah, 3 years. More, a little bit more. I think probably my whip parade was my actual 3-year anniversary when I used to do it with my mum. So that's lovely. And welcome if you're coming back. Hello, nice to see you again. And welcome if you're new. I did have a little influx of subscribers, I think, from my whip parade, which is lovely. So I guess you saw something that you liked, and I hope you stick around. It's lovely to have you here. So I thought I'd do just a little intro for all of those that are new, a little bit about me. So my name's Helen. I live in the northeast of England with my husband and my daughter, 3 years old. Her name's Anna. I've been stitching since I was 5, so a while, and I love it, obviously. I don't know that I have a style of stitching. It's all very swee-wee, stitch what you want when you want. I guess I don't do historical sampler replica stuff. Pretty much anything else is on the table. In varying degrees of what I like and the time of day it might be. My opinion changes. I've recently been diagnosed autistic and I am waiting for an ADHD assessment. It might come up sometimes. I refer to it in what's happening in my life. I don't think it really changes much. Just kind of answers a few questions sometimes. But that's me, really. The other thing that I really like apart from cross stitch is tarot. So at the beginning of these videos, I like to pull a little tarot card, kind of for stitching. For my stitching, for your stitching, a little guidance, maybe in something that you're doing currently. It might be your stitching. Sometimes it's resonated in people's actual lives as well, which is great. And sometimes it doesn't resonate with me at all, but one of my viewers, it might be their message. So for those of you that don't know tarot, it's really good. I love it. It's not fortune telling or anything like that. I kind of use it just as a guide to what's going on. So this morning I pulled like my year spread for my tarot. So I pulled like a 6x4 spread, and I kind of use it to see how the year's gonna pan out, like basically in quarters. So the first quarter of the year, second quarter, third, fourth. But it's a bit interpretive. And it just kind of helps you get through that stuff and maybe why. It makes you think about it. It's not like, it doesn't tell you what to do, it just makes you think about maybe what's happening. So the card that I pulled today, I think is really interesting if you kind of maybe heard about tarot, maybe not, because we pulled the Hanged Man, or the Hanged One, as this deck calls it. This is the Divine Feminist Tarot from Cucurina. So those that don't know a lot about tarot, you may think of this one and like death, for example, as quite bad cards or, you know, a bad omen. But that's not the case at all, not with this and not with death. So let me explain the hanged man or the hanged one to you. So in this imagery, you can see that this woman is hanging upside down by what seems to be a rope, but when you look closely, it's actually her own hair. So she is being suspended there, not by anyone else, it's entirely by herself, by her own structures that she's put in, her own hair. So the way that I've interpreted this one today is like kind of what's holding you back. Let me put this up here so you can see this, where I keep my little card so we can think about it. Oh, that nearly went down the side of the... There we go. What's kind of in your own way? So to me, that immediately is my model stitching. And again, not that that's a bad thing. It's just, I have to do a lot of things for my model stitching. I have to meet my deadlines. But it stops me from picking up one of my other whips, right? You only have so many hours in a day, so much stitching time, that it interrupts that, and that it can sometimes be demotivating. But you know, I chose to do that. I tied myself up with my own hair doing that. And maybe you're not model stitching, but maybe you're stitching a gift for somebody, and it may not be your favorite thing to do, but you want to get it done to give it to them. Or you really want to finish a whip, but you have to get through the back stitching, or maybe there's beading, or French knots, something that you don't like doing in order to complete that goal, and you've just got to get through it. But on the other hand, maybe it's saying let go of that whip that is keeping you there. I destashed one of my whips in my whip parade, my cabin in the woods, and it felt freeing to do that. So maybe it's saying that. Let me know if that resonates with you. But yeah, we'll see how it's speaking to me when we go through this. So that's my tarot. What I'm loving is all my new subscribers. Thank you so much, and thank you for the lovely comments and messages. I've had quite a few. And yeah, I don't think I have anything else that I'm loving right now, apart from just, you know, I get to stitch, which is awesome. And then speaking of stitches, so I haven't had any, oh, I guess I have had a new start. New year, new start, and a finish. So, well, a part finish, you know what I mean. So this is Stitch for Pride 2024, designed and hosted and educating us, these 20 stitches, Stitch Dad. So this is section 1, January, of a year-long SAL that we get to do. This is Keith Haring, and we learnt a lot about Keith through Dee's info that they gave us, which was amazing. And actually it was quite fun because I learned about Keith in secondary school. I remember going to the Tate Gallery in Liverpool and seeing Keith's work and getting a couple of postcards with like the dog prints and stuff like that. But as is usual in secondary school, you don't get given like the whole picture. So to relearn about Keith and his life and his art and how that, I didn't learn any of that. So I was really grateful to learn all about that. So I did my learning on the 1st of January because I wanted to start the stitching on the 1st of January, and you have to do your learning before you get to do your stitching. So I put like 7 stitches in on the 1st of January, but it was a start. So this is on 36 count, I think. Didn't write this down. 36 count latte from Fibre on a Whim. And the threads I used are 2 Cottage Garden nudes. So I didn't get the fabric or the floss pack, obviously. So I pulled the recommended DMCs and then worked back to see what I had in stash that I could sub for. So this was the Cottage Garden threads. So this is a nude. So when I ordered the Hearts for Pam box, and then they offered us 20% off anything else that we wanted to add to our order because there was quite a delay in shipping. I ordered some more things, and they had these nude packs. So these are mist-dyes or like end of hank things, so they might have a knot in, or just like discontinued colours that they can't sell anymore. So you get a pack of 10. So I got 10, and I'm using quite a few in this, and this is great for you know, things that you just need a random colour for. So I'm not sure what this is. I think I have something similar in stash, but the blue isn't quite right, so I wonder if that's a mist-dye of that colour. Anyway, so this is a lovely blue into purple. So that was my January pick. And as I was stitching, I think I had 3 or 4 stitching days on this. Katie, the peacock stitcher, I can't remember, showed hers, and she had done the heart and the triangle in pink, which I just thought was amazing, and instantly wanted to copy what she did. So the pink triangle, if you don't know, Keith, or the pink X, I know he used the pink X in one of his artworks, and it refers to the pink triangle that those that were held in concentration camps in the Holocaust were forced to wear to signify that they were gay or homosexual. So I wanted the triangle to be in pink to signify that, and then the heart just made sense as well. So of my floss pack, I chose this one. There is this white to pink to almost red. Again, a mist-dye from Cottage Garden threads. And I really love the pop that gives it, and the story that triangle has, and it makes you look at it. So I'm hoping that I can use each colour twice, basically, to pull out something. I don't know how it's going to work, because I don't know, I haven't seen the designs. I don't know who the artists are that we're gonna learn about. So I don't know how it's gonna work, but I'm hoping that so it kind of weaves it together more. I don't know. I love Katie's idea of picking out the colour of the triangle, and now I want to run with it. So we'll see. But yeah, I've got some nudes. I've got a DMC variation or colorist. I can't remember which ones they are. Some more nudes. A full skein of Cottage Garden. This was a Cottage Garden that was used in the autumn garden patterns. A classic colour work, a random coffee craft fabrics one that I had, another DMC variation, and a Gast. So that will all just live together, and I'll just pick colours as we go. We'll see how that goes. So yeah, that was a finish of January. So obviously there'll be more. It's a FFN, a finish for now. So my other whips. So I have my Notion template. Obviously, you've heard me talk about it lots. If you're new and you don't know, Notion is like an online database, and Stitchy Natty has built a template that you can buy. It's in the description box below. I keep it permanently there. I love it with all of my heart. So now that I'm like in a new year and using it from like day one of the new year, I can pull stats to show you guys or talk about here and there. Anyway, so from the last time I saw you, which was my whip parade, I have stitched 4,722 stitches on my model stitch. That's a lot in 3 weeks. It was a lot. I did a lot. Got a little burned out. Felt like I was trapped. But we're okay. So yeah, I was quite behind on where I should be on my little tracker. So I had a lot of catching up to do. Most of that's caught up now, and I've got my own little plans on how I divvy it up. Sorry, Alex came home. So yeah, that I can't show you my models, but 4,722 stitches. Quite proud of that. So my next thing that I worked on, it's not really in order because I kind of worked on them interchangeably, but is what I'm kind of really proud of this week. I finished. I had a page finish on my way on, and I took her off the key snap and I gave her a bath, and she's all ready to go for whenever. So yeah, let me hold her up. There we go. So yeah, I stitched 1,057 stitches to get her page finish. The Ada's still quite stiff, but definitely better off for a bath. So yeah, this is Moe and Shadon Imperial, patterned by Scarlet Quince, based on artwork by Alphonse Mucha. Don't know how to pronounce that anymore because Amy showed her Alphonse stuff on the long distance stitches stuff, and now I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway, I'm so happy with this. I just want to stare at it. So yeah, 18. Did I say 18 count Ada? 2/1. Lots of blends because it's Scarlet Quince. So Scarlet Quince is going out of business, if you don't know. I'm not sure when. But they have an app, kind of like Pattern Keeper. But you can't like kind of move around. You have to have specific pages that you look at a time. You can change the size of the page, but the max size is 100 by 100. So that's why I was doing like a page finish rather than kind of, I would go real cross country if I could. And I think I will. Now that I've taken off the Q snap, I think this is just maybe like 11 inches. across, and you can't see it all on an 11-inch Q-snap because the 11 inches like each side. So I think I need to just get an extension kit and just have it 14 inches like wide. I can keep the 11 inches top and bottom, but just so I can get the whole thing in at once. And I can maybe do, because this is like 2 pages that it does with some overlap, so I could do like 2 pages at a time, really. I think I would like that better now that I've taken it off the Q-snap and looked at it. So I would have to move the pattern around a bit, but I think I'd be okay with that because I waste a lot of thread as well. So I would waste less if I could look at the whole page at the same time. So yeah, but that's my goal. That was the goal for this piece for the year, was to finish the page. So I'll play with my magnet ball later, but yeah, that was done. So very happy about that. Oh, I also, if I've got the picture up, I'll put the picture up now. So the Moen Chardon at the top, that is just only the letters are stitched and the white background is not stitched at all. And then like the pieces in between, like the 2 little bits at either side, those aren't stitched. But for some reason in the pattern, the bottom bit where it says Cremant Imperial, that's charted to stitch in white. And like I immediately knew I wasn't going to do that. I'm not sure why it's charted that way. But anyway. So the other night I went and just marked all those stitches as done, found out how many stitches that was, and took that off the total. Because it was like white and then another symbol which is like white and ecru or white and 3865 or something like that. Like not necessary when you've already omitted the top bit. So tidied that all up to what I would actually stitch, and it turned out to be like over 4,000 stitches. And no way am I going to stitch 4,000 stitches of white on white. No. So I did that, and then I took it off the total amount of stitches. So I didn't say that I had stitched those stitches. I just took it off the stitch count. In Notion, that's fine. So I'm now at like 17.7%. But you can't do that on the app, on the pattern. So now it's gonna be off, but that's fine. I'm okay with that. And there's some other bits that I'm gonna tidy up as well. But I think I'll just keep those as it's charted, and because it won't be like another 4,000 stitches. But yeah, glad that I did that, and I'll have to do it on its sister pattern as well. But yeah, it was just funny that what I don't know how they chart Scarlet Quince things, but I assume it's like a pick-to-pat thing. You just put it in and the computer spits it out. So why they've omitted the top and then not done it with the bottom, I'm not sure. Anyway. So yeah, I got my total stitch count down. Who's going to stitch 4,000 stitches? 4,000 white stitches on white fabric. All the power to you if you're going to do that. But yeah. So the other thing that I worked on my lovely friend Megan heard my call that I needed a buddy to stitch this with. This is Angel of Love by Lavender and Lace. It's on a 28 count even weave, 32. Possibly that, I can't remember. It's in my Notion. That I dyed myself with Rit dye. Using all the called for threads. I think I'm just using where there's a blending filament, I'm just using the number 8 Cryonic braid. But apart from that, I think it's all the same. So yes, my lovely friend Megan, when I was contemplating starting this, because it was kind of a unicorn pattern for me and I was scared to jump in, she had started it and said, I will sell it with you, because she hadn't worked on hers for a while. So I did, and that's how I got started. But apart from that, I hadn't really touched it much. And when I was doing my whip parade, I realised it was quite neglected. So we have decided to do little Zoomy calls once a month, maybe. We haven't really decided, just whenever. But we got a good few hours in the other day, and I am now completed the bottom 30 rows, and my goal is for the 50 rows. So yeah, very happy with the progress there. What can I say about this? So it takes me a long time to get in the mindset. So about half an hour before we started the call, I was already sitting there kind of getting all my stuff together, looking at my pattern, making a plan, because it's DMC and Cryonic and beads, because I'm beading as I go. So making a plan around what I'm stitching. So the approach currently is 10 by 10 rows. So that's where I'm going. I'm going from the bottom and working my way up. Stitch all the DMC in that row, then stitch all the Cryonic, then stitch all the beads, because beads have to go last. It's difficult because you have to then look at what is beads. So I have to highlight the beads in like a yellow to say, ignore them, they're beads. Then when I actually stitch the beads, then I have to go over it in the orange or whatever I've decided. So it takes a lot of mental effort, which is fine. It's a labour of love. And that's why I've got, like, I have a buddy, and, you know, realistic goals, and this isn't going to get done anytime soon, and I'm okay with that. So yeah, it just takes a lot of effort. So, but I'm really pleased with what I got done on our little Zoom. It was quite an epic Zoom, actually. And yeah, it must be a 20. I think it's a 28 count because of the beads. It calls for a 28 count. But even with the 28 count, the beads don't fit. So I've had to, I got over I let it go, that not all the beads are going to fit, but no one's going to know which beads I've left out. It's fine. So I'm just stitching kind of whatever. If there's a hole, I'll put a bead in it. If not, it can stay out. Like, it's so bead heavy in there and there's no pattern to it. It's not, you know, exactly, what do you call it? Words. It's not identical each side. What do I mean? You know what I mean? It's just geometric patterns, not even geometric, just like squares of colour. I don't think there's an overall pattern. So yeah, with Megan's help, I got over that kind of mental obstacle. I'm having real trouble with my words today, and I'm sorry. But yeah, so glad I worked on that. I don't count my stitches on that because it's really hard to count. And do I count the beads? And so I don't have like a how many stitches I stitched or a percentage of progress. It's just sorry. So yeah, that was the 4 things that I worked on since my work parade. I don't have any haul. I'm waiting for my fabric of the month to come, and hopefully it will work for my ink circles round robin, my second most magnificent ink circles round robin. If not, I might panic because I don't know what else to do. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's not due until March, so we're fine. Plans. Let's get the board down. So, you saw my board. I got lots of lovely comments about my board. I rearranged the board, so we don't have categories now. I've just put them in like age order. And so I move it along when I've worked on it. So when everything gets to that side, I'll move everything back and we'll start again. This one, Moe, I finished this. So I've got my little finished page. Yellow Birds is the project bag that it's in. Doesn't sit there. Doesn't stick backwards. So we'll put it upside down. I think that'll work. I would like to put it back to front. Maybe it does stick. Oh, it's very precarious. I don't like that at all. Maybe I'll take it off altogether. Maybe put it down here. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about it. Anyway, so because I've worked on Moe Imperial, I'm gonna have to work on White Star because they get worked on the same size, the same time, and I'm gonna have to finish the page because I've set that example for myself. And I stitched on Angel of Love. So I haven't been stitching up here much in my craft room / office / spare bedroom / dumping room. I haven't been stitching up here because I haven't been working. Like, I worked this week. I stitched on Angel of Love up here when we were doing our Zoom call. So the colours are how big my Q-snap is. So the green ones are 11 by 11 and these gold ones are 8 by 8. And I find it easier to work with an 8 by 8 in this. I have 2 Lowry stands, one down here, one downstairs and one up here. But the chairs are very different. So I can only really work in an 8 by 8 up here. It kind of works for Angel of Love, but I wouldn't like to do it all the time. So, what do I want to work on? Do we just go from the top? My oldest 8 by 8 Singer Sampler. Finish the stuff in the boxes. I mean, I don't have to do that all. These are year-long goals. Yeah, I need to start my first Most Magnificent ink circles. Maybe I do that. It's over here, because it's like my most recent whip, because it just came in between Christmas and New Year. I need to get that done. Again, it's not till March, but I should do it and then just keep it, because I got to do my other one as well. And that'll probably come next week. The fabric for it will probably come next week. And with Rachel's, it's Damask Square by Ink Circles, and it's just one variegated silk, so it shouldn't be too taxing. And I can just pick up a thread and stitch while I'm up here. Okay, yeah, cool. So I'll take White Star downstairs. I'll put Ink Circles on the Q-snap and put it on the stand. Yeah. Okay, so plans are White Star, Ink Circles, and more models, obviously. So yeah, that's my plans. When am I gonna next see you? Probably like the 25th of Jan. So like D's February won't be out. Oh, WhipGo! Didn't talk about WhipGo. So WhipGo is kind of still on. Quaker EPP WhipGo. I have had a practice of making little hexies. It's harder than it looks. But I did make my little hexies, and I did go and get some thread, hand sewing thread, to have when I need to stitch those together. So that was productive, but I also had a Zoomies with Nati, because she was helping me with some Notion things, and her and Kaylee are like the queens of tiny stitching. So I did sit down and I figured out, I knew they would have to be tiny, but depending on the chart size, it would either have to be 1/1 on either 36 count or 40 count. And I was asking for some advice, and I was hoping to do it in Cottage Garden threads. I did some test swatches, and I wasn't overly excited about doing 1/1 40 count with cotton, and I don't have anything else. So Nati said I needed Soie or Tudor silk, neither of which are very accessible here in the UK. She, however, lives quite close, or, you know, within distance of Acorns and Threads that have a whole wall, I'm told, of Tudor silk, and I would love to go see it. But I have given her a list of colours that I need generally, and she's gonna acquire me some. So I can't stitch until I get those, and that's fine, because WhipGo, I did it in 2022, and I just couldn't keep up with it. I think I got to July maybe, and then I was just defiant of my own plans. So this WhipGo isn't so much about getting it done every month, it's just, it tells me which ones I need to do, because there's like 50 odd on the list that need doing, and I have very bad decision making. So I just let WhipGo decide. I could have used a wheel or whatever, but I thought, QQEPP Whip Go was quite fun. So I think 9 and 22 were called, which was ladybug. I don't know which order, but ladybug, crab, and raccoon. And I'm gonna do them all on just neutral, like creamy fabrics, and let the colour of the quilting fabric do its job. So that's the plan with that, even though there's kind of no plan, it's just whenever. I mean, they're tiny anyway, they won't take me a long time, but I need the right tools. So luckily Natty's going to help me with that. But I'm not on any kind of deadline with that. Maybe I'll just make some more hexies in the meantime. But I don't know. I've watched a few videos. I'm still not convinced I know what I'm doing with them. I don't want to like make tons of hexies and just leave them sitting there in the paper and the glue. And I don't know what colours I'll want together, so I can't really make the rings that would go round. Do you know what I mean? I'd have to stitch it and then decide which colour of the quilting fabric that I want round each one, depending on what they look like. Anyway, that's why there is no movement, but there will be. I don't know. Anyway, that's all the stitching stuff. Life stuff, not a whole lot. Like I said, I'm back to work this week, which is, I would quite happily have not to work. But there you go. Alex is back to work as well. Anna went back to nursery on the 2nd of January, so she's back in her routine. Took a while. She was like so out of her routine, and she doesn't like it. She gets very tired. She likes her routine. So she's doing great. I don't know that. I think we had a letter from the hospital to say that more of her tests came back and they're all normal. For those that are new, we had my daughter at the hospital because she was getting sick a lot. We didn't know if she had an immune deficiency thing, but they've done lots of tests and she's fine. She's just a COVID baby, and lots of COVID babies are coming out with these kind of things. They're finding out. So good to know that she doesn't have anything underlying, and she's, touch wood, been okay for the past 6 months or so. So I'm hoping she's just growing out of it like the consultant said she would. Yeah. Oh, my mother-in-law was up at Christmas and she says she watches these. So hi Billy, if you're watching. And she took a few stitching things home with her, a pattern, and I set her, it was an Emma Congdon pattern out of her Cross Stitch the Earth that she chose, and gave her some fabric and started off with some DMC. My father-in-law's just messaged asking about Lowry stands, so that's so fun. So yeah, I think I made a new stitcher. So yeah, I think that's it. I'm tired. I think I need something to eat. I will see you in a couple of weeks. I need to get better at ending these. I don't know. you're only holding yourself back. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.